Hello and welcome back. And so in this section, I'll be talking about who exactly is a database administrator. What does this mean when we say I am a database administrator, right? We've signed up for this course. We're doing a course on database administration, but what does that really imply? Now, one of my favorite saying is businesses rely heavily on data. Every business, regardless of the industry, regardless of the niche, regardless of what they do, they rely heavily on data because data is at the soul of every business, right? Proprietary data is at the soul of every business. And so our goal, our objective as database administrators is we serve as gatekeepers for business critical data, right? Everything vital, every record, every information that is vital to a business survival becomes our responsibility. All right, and we're responsible for the prompt availability, protection, and distribution of this business critical data. All right, so what we do is very critical. Businesses can't survive without their data, and they need us to protect that data. That's why what we do is so important. All right, so DBAs are needed. If IT is involved, then DBAs are working. That's kind of, we are critical to every business. We're required, we're needed everywhere. Now, there are two classes of database administrators. All right, even though the skill set to be a database administrator is the same, but it's important to note the two classifications. The first one, we have the operations database administrators. Some people might call this system DBAs or operations. That's the same thing. And the other one is the application DBA. So operations database administrators and the applications database administrators. All right, so the operations or system DBAs are responsible for the physical and technical aspects of the database. And so things like installation, patching, fixing bugs, right? And an important aspect of what the role of an ops DBA is really having a full understanding of the entire database infrastructure, right? So your skill set is not just, or your responsibilities are not just limited to one application or one track or just knowing one particular area. You kind of have to be well versed in knowledge when it comes to the environment where you support. All right, so you will hear people say I'm a production support database administrator. That's still talking about the same thing. Now, the application DBAs are a little different, right? Their role is more tailored to a specific application, even though it's within an organization or an IT organization for a company. Let's say, for instance, you get a job at Amazon. So you work for Amazon, but let's say you're hired to support a particular product, right? So you're not really supporting the entire Amazon database infrastructure. You're just supporting that one connected product or solution, whatever. That's an application DBA. So your knowledge, your skills are utilized in conjunction with how it's required for that application. So it's important to note the difference. Now, the skills required to be whether application database administrator or ops database administrators are pretty much the same, right? The skill set is the same, but kind of the mindset and the nature of the beast when it comes to the work is a little different. Now, quickly, let's talk about some DBA responsibilities. The first one I have here is database design and architecture. All right, so when we talk about an architect, who is an architect? An architect is somebody who takes concept and creates design out of it, basically. All right, I want to build a house. I call an architect. I say, hey, this is my vision. This is what I want. I want the house to have 5 rooms, and I want it to have 4 bathrooms. I needed to have this and that. And the architect will take my concept, my requirements, and go draw up a design and bring back and say, now this is what you're looking for, right? Is this what you're thinking? So that's what an architect is. And so the role of a DBA, even though it's not we don't call ourselves data architects, you still step into that role sometimes where you take business requirements and try to build designs, right? That should translate. So you need to, okay, this is what we're trying to do. The business comes with their requirements. Say, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to build this product. And you should be able to go back and say, hey, well, we're going to need this table, this database is going to look like this. We needed to have this infrastructure, this kind of design. So that's kind of one of our high-level responsibilities. Next one is database implementation. All right, so let's go back to the house illustration I used earlier. Okay, so you have the architect has designed the house. they hand it off to the building engineer. The building engineer is like the boots on the ground that goes to implement the things that are on the design. Now that's where we start. That's what this training is going to equip you to do, is take these architectural designs and bring them to life, implement them. So from installation, configuring things, making adjustments and tweaks, that's our work. That's the life of a DBA. It's, building stuff, it's applying stuff. Whenever you feel like a project supporting DBA, all you're doing is implementing project designs or database designs. The next responsibility of a DBA is database support and maintenance. So this is like, you're like the help desk for the database. Okay, so it breaks, you go fix it. You're the one responsible for figuring out what the issue is with the database. Is it a database issue, and how do we fix it? What's the root cause analysis? Do a root cause analysis. What's the cause? How do we make sure it doesn't happen again? What solutions we need to implement to make sure this is not happening again. That's support. That's part of our duties as DBAs. The next responsibility is database growth and scaling. So you need to be able to look at trends and plan for the future based on those trends, right? It's like trend analysis. Okay, last year, during this period, we noticed a spike in activity and our data size grew this much. That's a trend. Based on this, and we've observed that it's happened every year by July, this occurs. That means next month when July comes around, we need to make provision to accommodate that. So you're making proactive arrangements based on trends that you've observed in the past. That's part of our responsibilities as database administrators. And then a very important one is database security, right? Who has access to what? What level of access should they have? Unauthorized access. Right, what level of permission should people have, users have? All of that kind of falls on the lap of the database administrator. And this is a very critical assignment. I go a lot deep into this when we get to the class on security, but it's a very important responsibility of database administrators. Now, the next one is database performance. All right, we're responsible for making sure the database is performing optimally. All right, we're the ones responsible for doing things like performance tuning, doing tweaks and adjustments to the database to make sure we're getting the best performance. And not just for us, but we are serving customers, right? So our customers should have the best experience. Nobody wants to see that round circle thing when you're trying to retrieve your insurance information or your bank account balance. You don't want to see that, and you don't want to see, especially when you have good internet. And so now it's like it's a database problem. So our job is to make sure things like that don't happen. And last on this list is availability of data to end users. Eventually, that's our job. Users want their data, right? A client to a bank wants to see their bank account information whenever they log into the app. All right. Every user just wants access to their information. Period. They don't care about the technicalities going on at the back end. And our job is to make sure it's like that. Right? Database availability is critical. That's how we stay employed, because if the customer is not getting their data, then we lose business. The company can't pay us, and there's no DBAs. All right. So that's kind of a high level overview of the roles and responsibilities of a database administrator. All right. So database administration is an excellent career path for anybody going into information technology, right? It's a very it's a very lucrative field in IT, in technology, and you can do your research and see what it pays in your area. But according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, right, it's one of the better paid IT roles. Okay, it's earning as of 2018-2019, it was paying between $95,000 to $140,000 annual salary. All right, so its pay is good. There's over 100,000 DBA jobs every year, and this trend has continued for a while. And DICE projects that the demand for database administrators will continue to grow at the rate of 20%. In fact, I saw a new article that said it's going to grow by 22% every year. So it's a very viable career path. All right, so I say this to get you excited about what you're getting into. It's an excellent career path, and database administrators are sought after. Database administrators are always in demand. It's a high income skill, but it's also a high value skill. That means the value we deliver to businesses, it can't be measured. All right, so it's you know, if you want to do reasonable or valuable work, important work, and enjoy yourself, and there's unlimited, you know, track to growth. Technology is always evolving, so you're constantly learning and staying up to date. So it's an exciting field to be in. All right, so database administration is exciting, and database administrators are really cool. All right, I have to say that. We will be jumping into the more technical details from the next class, and for this course, we will be using the Microsoft SQL Server database platform. There's so many different database platforms out there, but as you might already be aware, SQL Server is like one of the leaders in the industry, and that's the platform we'll be using for this class. And so get ready, get excited, we are about to go. All right, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.